Hello, friends. I want to tell you off the bat, I don't really believe in the law of attraction. I think it's a silly model. Silly. But that's not to say that the modern iterations of the idea of the law of attraction aren't meaningless. It comes out of a movement that's actually mainly American that was called the New Thought movement, and it started around 1905. And the essence of where I think this is useful is we can say, whatever you focus your mind on, you're probably going to get more of. And I don't think that's a mystical statement. I don't think that's a statement that exists outside of normal, modern, Western mechanistic science. There are things that exist outside of normal, modern, mechanistic science that maybe one day it will include, but I don't think this is one of them. What I think it is important to understand, though, is we should be conscious, and I include myself in this, of what it is that is occupying our minds most of the time. So if a lot of our mental focus, psychic energy is pointing at negativity, at bad experiences, at things we don't like, things we don't want, things that make us upset, things that make us enraged, conflict, confrontation, injustice, violence, and on and on and on, there is a sort of a dark appeal to all of that. I remember years ago when I used to work in self-defense, I was reading a book by a British self-defense instructor called Jeff Thompson. And he made a point in a book that I think he got from Eastern philosophy, which is that the mind doesn't naturally spiral upward. It doesn't naturally move towards positivity. Unchecked, the mind will move towards negativity. Our friends who are evolutionary psychologists and evolutionary biologists would probably tell us something like it's more adaptive in terms of evolution and survival for your genes to be thrown forward effectively into the future if the entity is focused on danger and potential threat in a high threat, low resource environment, which is what we are adapted to, which is what we're evolved to. And I think that's where the dark appeal comes from. I was talking to somebody recently about true crime and true crime podcasts and how popular they are. This lady suggested to me that many women will watch and consume this content obsessively and they really enjoy it. Part of the enjoyment is they're learning to assess who could be a potential threat in the environment. And I said, oh, okay, that's all very interesting. That's cool. So we put all that there and we go, okay, what does that leave us with? You have a certain number of hours per day where you're conscious. Let's say for most of us, it's around 16, 17 hours a day where we're conscious. Where is the mind habitually going? Because whatever we do a lot of, we get good at. And whatever you've been doing most of in the past is the strongest indicator of what you'll be doing in the present and in the future. It's almost like the past has its own gravity. It has its own karmic weight, cause, effect, cause, effect, cause, effect, cause, effect. And it just keeps rolling through unless we interrupt it. So if you were to ask me how much of my waking state is in a deliberately positive focus on that which is good, on that which works, on that which is healthy, and on what I do want in my life, I would have to be honest with you and say not very much. Were I to join some iteration of the New Thought movement, I mean, I used to be really into this stuff in the 90s when I was a kid. So I was reading stuff from the 80s and 70s and earlier that was all about, it's like a branch of personal development. It borrows from Eastern philosophy, the Vedic texts, Rosicrucianism even, and Hermeticism, and it puts it all together and it says that which you focus on is likely to manifest in your life. And there's a part of me that's cynical and is like, okay, we really need to stick to data and to facts. That's important. But even that academic, hard-edged intellectual side, it comes with its own negativity. What we need to be doing is asking a simple, but simple doesn't mean easy, a simple but hard question. What am I spending my time focusing on? Is it the past? Is it the pain? Is it the negativity? Is it the betrayal? Is it the hurt? Is it all of the things I don't want? And then thought experiment. Don't be you. Let your ego dissolve. Float outside of yourself and look at yourself from above. Try it now. And look at a person from above who's going to move through time in their life and run the simulation in your own mind. If their head is full of, I don't like this, I don't want that, I hate that, I resent this, I conflict with that, this is wrong, this is unfair. And then you imagine an hour goes by, 5 hours go by, a day goes by. Now run it faster. The sun goes up, the sun goes down, the sun goes up, the sun goes down, faster, faster, faster. Days, weeks, months, where is that person going? Where are they going? How are they feeling? Because look, this isn't a woo. We haven't yet entered the realms of woo. We may enter the realms of woo, but we're not doing it just yet. What you're thinking and what you're feeling, if you take it back to narcissism, what I'm regularly thinking and regularly feeling, and who I'm being and how that is in a loop with my identity, is impacting, let's say in the realm of romance, who I'm attracted to, what I want, what I find sexy, what I find interesting, what I find lovable. This poor creature, it needs love. Oh, it's the Antichrist. Oopsie daisy. Probably shouldn't have done that and given the Antichrist my entire heart and access to my house, my car, my bank accounts. Yeah, there's a reason I'm still in therapy. But listen, if you change that simulation and run it again and float back outside of yourself and see yourself across a timeline, having repeated thoughts and feelings and creating new action, maybe the thoughts and feelings become more positively focused. Maybe you start to focus more on what you do want. And maybe you start to have feelings about what you do want. And maybe, to pontificate, that even lays down new neural pathways such that as we move through time, speed it up again, just like they did in the sci-fi series 3-Body Problem. I highly recommend it. When they're running the simulations of the 3-body problem for the alien species, run it faster. Day, night, day, night, day, night, month, 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 year, 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 decade, decade, decade. What does that look? What's that person going to do? What are they going to be habitually thinking and feeling? And how will that impact their actions and their decisions? It is not enough for the human brain and the human mind to say, I don't want an abusive relationship. It's not going to work. You can't just say to the brain, so the whole new thought movement is kind of cute. They'd be like, oh, the brain, it's like the master and the slave, or they'd have metaphors like it's a computer. You know, when computers were big tapes on walls, that kind of a computer. But whatever you program the brain with, it obeys you. That's not a bad metaphor. That's not a bad metaphor. The human brain is not adapted to happiness. I don't personally believe, I've seen no evidence, our genetic instincts, so our strongest unconscious instincts, care much about happiness. I think the predominant focus and the predominant adaptation of the central nervous system, of the brain, our strongest genetic impulses are towards not being dead. Just stay alive. The happiness that we talk of is largely, if you look at it biochemically, it's kind of a reward system. Well, it's not kind of a reward system. If you speak to the neurobiologists, they're going to tell you it's a reward system. You do something and you feel good for the thing you did. You take action, you conquer something, you win, you're successful, you move forward, or you become more peaceful, or you become more accepting, or you become more humble, or you become more, you find yourself in a state of semi-spiritual bliss and gratitude. Like, you used to be miserable all the time, and now a third of the day you can maintain that mindset. You get the neurotransmitters and hormones that are related to the reward system, which says you're winning. Usually, I think the winning, the reward system, the happiness that we crave is still genetic bound. And you'll find it's when you have done something that is moving you towards being more likely to send your genes forward into the future, then you get the reward and you go, feels good. That actually feels good, but really good. So there's actually feeling really good in the world, which I think you can only do if you make a conscious effort to change your thoughts and change your feelings, to change your actions, so that you're habitually and unconsciously, it can't be like one big effort that you keep up for a week or a 2-day yay, yay, rah, rah seminar. It needs to be on and on and on. There needs to be a new lifestyle. And then you win. You say, I have this. I don't like this. No me gusta. I want this. I want to move towards this. And then to some degree, you don't even need to get this. The reward system is actually quite kind in the human system. You don't even need to get this to get happy. You just take steps towards it. Your brain, your unconscious, even the superego, we can say, is observing you and goes, oh, you're moving towards something you want. Okay, so feel better, feel happy. There's research that backs this. I do sometimes just pontificate, but there is research that backs that. Feel better. Oh, you're moving in the direction you want. Oh, I'm less depressed. Oh, you're moving in the direction you actually want. I weirdly feel less anxiety. Yes, because the system was sending you a message. We're not moving anywhere good. We should change that. I don't think the system sends us bad feelings for no reason. It's complicated. The system gets stuck. It's not really adapted to the modern, highly symbolic environment yet. It would take presumably hundreds of thousands of years for us to adapt to the environment that we've created. So it is maladaptive. You can get stuck with, we know in trauma, PTSD, the alarm goes on and then we can't switch it off. And that's a nightmare. It's a living hell. But the system is not, your body's not punishing you. It's trying to keep you alive. And then I reviewed this yesterday, all of the effective systems for dealing with post-traumatic stress in some way allow the system, the body, the mind together to accept that a thing has happened and that yes, the thing was bad, but it's not here now. It's not here now. It's almost as though the more primitive parts of us can't tell time. They're like, you relive it because the system goes, that's a stupid example. Okay, we're primitive humans. Everyone who goes into that cave gets bitten by horrible hornets. Don't go into that cave. And one day you walk into that cave and you get bitten and it's a horrible experience. It's agony and it takes you days to recover from the pain. The system is going to go cave, very painful, cave, very bad, because if you keep going back in, eventually you're going to get stung to death. So the system is giving you a hard message. Cave is pain. I'm not talking about caves and hornets. I'm talking about narcissists. I'm talking about emotionally abusive relationships. I'm talking about betrayal. I'm talking about trusting people who you shouldn't trust. I'm talking about giving things to pathological people who are there to exploit you and use you. The brain, the PTSD, the alarm is cave very bad, cave very, very bad, cave super bad. And you're like, yes. Thank you. I've got it. Think of, people who've been through violent incidents, combat veterans with PTSD. It's 2:00 in the morning. They're trying to sleep. And then their brain is going, just so you know, cave bad, super. And it's like, geez, no, would you stop, please? Cave very bad, alarm, so that you don't do it again. What are they re-experiencing? They're re-experiencing a frightening, painful situation, and the body is doing its job, saying, don't do that. That you will die if you do that. Your genetics end if you do that. It's catastrophe if you do that. All of the PTSD therapies, the top ones that I was having a look at yesterday, all of them allow the body and the mind to accept the thing has happened, but it's not here now. It's not here now. I don't have to be thinking negatively, reliving and I know the joy of it. I know the dark pleasures of it. Don't think I'm above this, where you start going back through the drama and it's like, you wouldn't believe what she effing said. You wouldn't believe what she did. And then this happened and I thought that was the worst thing she could do. Do you know what she did next? Tell me the dreadful thing that the narcissist did to you. Oh my God, girl, just wait till you hear that. And you can relive it. And I've noticed in those moments, I'm becoming activated. I have energy where before I was like, oh, I'm tired from the gym and I'm not really switched on. Then I'm midway through this passionately delivered tale of awful, and I'm like gesturing and the volume of my voice has gone up and like we're even laughing about it, so it's funny. So I'm getting a reward from the fact that it's so awful it's funny. And I think, dark, I love dark humor, I love dark comedy, but afterwards I think, what did I just do? What message am I sending myself there? Why am I activated about something that is awful? And then I just ask another question of myself, like, what if I was that passionate and activated? I'm using activated because if I say aroused, people go, oh, sexually aroused. No, activated, aroused in the biological sense. What if I was that activated about something positive? How often am I getting activated about something positive? Very rarely. Is that because I'm a terrible person? No, it's because I'm a human being. You'll notice there's a style of stand-up comedy. It's one that I really like. It's usually delivered by middle-aged men or middle-aged women who defeated and broken, and they're just ranting about how awful their life is. And it can be the most hilarious stuff you can ever see. We never lose it. It's great. But ranting, venting, getting enraged again about the past is really, it's a very disempowering. Sorry, I hate that phrase. It's impotent. It's impotent. You're being impotent. It's an expression of impotency. What can you do about the past? It's written. It's already written. You can't grab the writer's hand and go, move it. So the ink is dry. Done. Can I grab the writer's hand today as it writes? Yes. Can I move the writer to write a new story tomorrow? Yes. Next week? More yes. Next month? More yes. Next year? More. more, yes. In the next decade, 100%. It goes up to 100%. Of course you can. Further out in time, we expand. Yeah, we can move in new directions. But you got to be aware. You got to be switched on. You can't be shadow possessed. You can't be splashing around in the mud and the poo-poo going, God, I hate all this muddy poo-poo. Why are you always in it? Shut up. Why are you always in it? Negativity. There's a payoff in it. There's a payoff. It feels good sometimes, but it's a dark, dirty high. It's a dark and dirty high. I don't think we should always not be dark and dirty. I think there's moments for that. I think there's moments to be dark and dirty. You should have light, but we need balance. All of this to say, if you care about people, and I think about people who watch me, the confused mess of a human being that I am, that pretty much everybody is, secretly, everybody is. Everything's a mess, but that's a story for another day. At the darkest moments, I wish I'd known how much more power and potency I had by choosing to change the story, by choosing with a will and with a discipline to move in new directions. All of this is awful. It's awful. But you shouldn't get to possess me. This is another concept from Jeff Thompson. When somebody abuses you, they effectively possess you. You did a terrible thing to me, and that's terrible. And we acknowledge you are a POS for doing the terrible thing. God damn you for making me dwell on it for the next 5, 10, 15. And I've seen people who it's just years of their lives. Like they're bitten and they're poisoned and they couldn't get out. The final thought I give you on this is, if you want to get out, this is because I was so a month ago I did a video on the neuroscience of narcissism, and then it took me down this rabbit hole where I was like, oh my God, it literally changes the brain. The brain shows up differently. This is affect the victims. The brain shows up differently. It becomes atrophied. It shrinks in certain areas, and then your capacity to do things is altered. In order to make real change that lasts and comes from within and is authentic, we have to be alive and aware of concepts like neuroplasticity, of concepts like, well, yes, prolonged trauma literally shrinks the amygdala, and then there's things we must do and must exercise it doesn't shrink the hippocampus. There's things we must do to increase the volume of the hippocampus post narcissistic abuse, emotional abuse. It could be DV, it could be whatever the trauma, the pain, the suffering, the betrayal is. There's things we have to work with that. But a good starting place is to say, okay, I want to change the focus in my brain and I want it to go in new directions. We must start from neuroplasticity. So I have to go inside and say, dude, if you really want new things, and you really do, you have to do new things. Doing new things is supported by thinking new things and feeling new things. I went on for longer than I meant to. Standard. Ladies and gents, I have a new course. It is hopefully the last course I ever make. I don't think I'll need to make another one after this. I've set myself no time limits, no restrictions. I've treated it as though I'm doing face-to-face coaching with you. And so if I need to cover a topic and it needs to be covered thoroughly, I take the time to do it. At the moment, I think the course is around 15 hours long. If I need to make amendments afterwards, I reserve the right to do that. I will continue adding to this course for as long as I feel is necessary until I've gone, okay, that's it. That's me. I've said everything I can say about helping people to recover from narcissistic abuse. The course is a total roadmap, a total narcissistic abuse recovery roadmap from beginning, step by step by step by step by step to the end. The syntax of the course has been set carefully. You're going to ask in the comments, can I do this with my therapist? Can I do this with my counselor? Please do. Please do get the assistance of a qualified mental health practitioner, preferably one who has a very good understanding of narcissistic abuse, and they can go through the course with you and they can adapt bits of the course for you. If you do the course, I can't promise that all the problems will go away in a few months. What I would say is a realistic target is that inside of 2 months of working on the course, you would start to feel 80 to 90% better. That's realistic. And you might go, well, that would mean I only have 10% healing to do. Yes, my friends, but that last 10 might be an ongoing journey for the rest of your life. I want you to set your expectations properly. It's a very good course. I'm very happy with it.
It's very thorough. It leaves no stone unturned, but it is a course. It's a course we do online. So there's a limit to how much it can actually do. Therapy is going to help as well. If you do these techniques and your therapist takes the techniques and adapts them for you specifically, it's going to be very, very powerful. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much for your time and for your attention, and I look forward to speaking to you again very soon. Thank you.